They say a lick is just affection, a simple sign of love from your cat, but the truth is far stranger. When that rough tongue scrapes across your skin, it isn't random, it isn't just habit, it's code. A ritual passed down from their ancestors, sharpened by survival, reserved for the humans who've earned a place inside their circle. To most people it feels harmless, even cute, but to those who understand, every lick is a message. Sometimes it's loyalty, sometimes it's ownership, sometimes it's something darker, a reminder of instincts that never died. And unless you know the difference, you'll miss what your cat is really saying. Stay until the end, because what begins as a simple lick will unravel into a truth older than domestication itself. Once you hear it, you'll never look at that tiny gesture the same way again. Capisce? The Catfather is about to reveal what a lick really means, and the answer isn't what you think. It begins with a scrape, rough against your skin, startling in its texture. The barbs on a cat's tongue, called papillae, are shaped like tiny hooks of keratin, designed to strip flesh from bone, to comb through fur, to clean a predator after the kill. That tongue is a weapon, and yet when it drags across your hand, your arm, even your face, it has been transformed into something else entirely, a gesture of bond. Make no mistake, a lick is never random, it is never casual. It is the language of family written in sensation, the code of bloodlines translated into touch. When kittens are born, they are blind, helpless, fragile creatures, and their mother licks them into existence. Her tongue cleans, warms, stimulates breathing, and engraves one unbreakable truth: to be licked is to be cared for, to be marked as kin. That memory is carved into their instincts, and it never fades. So when your cat licks you, they are not simply grooming. They are rewriting that ritual upon you. They are saying, "You are mine, and I am yours. I will clean you because you belong to me." It is adoption. It is intimacy. It is trust, translated into the only language they know from the moment life began. But look closer, because it is more than motherly care. Grooming among adult cats, known as allo-grooming, happens only among those who share the deepest bonds. Pride members of lions lick each other to reinforce rank and affection. House cats do it in colonies to dissolve tension and seal alliances. When your cat grooms you, they are inviting you into this hidden fraternity. You are no longer just the human who feeds them. You are pride, partner, clan. This is trust deeper than proximity. This is loyalty engraved in instinct. The sensation is rough, almost abrasive, but beneath the scrape is softness. Their body leans close, their eyes half shut, their tail still. Every signal confirms the meaning. This is not demand, not play, but ritual. A ritual older than domestication, one carried from deserts where wildcats survived by bonds and sharpened by thousands of years living beside firelight and human breath. That your skin has become the canvas for this ritual is no accident. It is proof that you have passed tests you didn't even know existed. Still, the bond of the tongue is layered. Sometimes the lick is brief, a single touch like a signature placed on your skin. Other times it is prolonged, rhythmic, deliberate, a grooming session that feels endless. Each form carries its own weight. A single lick says, "I acknowledge you." A series says, "I fold you into my care." An extended ritual says, "I mark you as mine, and I will not let you drift from me." To the untrained eye, it is affection. To the chosen, it is coronation. The Catfather whispers it straight. If a predator grooms you as if you are kin, you are no longer outsider. You are under his protection. Science confirms what instinct has always known. Grooming releases endorphins, soothing both the giver and the receiver. For cats, it lowers stress, reinforces bonds, and creates chemical feedback loops of calm. When they lick you, those same endorphins pulse through them, and through contact, through shared scent, through pressure and warmth, they bleed into you as well. That is why the act feels grounding, why some describe it as strangely comforting despite the roughness. It is not only gesture, it is therapy. Their body is telling yours, "We are safe, we are one." But do not be fooled into thinking this is the only message hidden in the scrape of a tongue. Affection is only the beginning. The lick is layered, carrying codes darker, older, more primal than simple love. And if you think it always means kindness, you are mistaken, because sometimes when your cat licks you, it isn't to comfort you at all, it's to claim you. And that, Capisce, is the second truth behind the ritual. What feels like affection may in fact be ownership, and once you realize what your cat is really doing, you'll never see those licks the same way again. A ritual older than civilization, carried in the bloodlines of desert hunters, temple guardians, shipboard sentinels, and village protectors. When your cat licks you, they are not inventing affection. They are reenacting history, repeating an ancient ceremony that bound felines and humans together long before you were born. Travel back 10,000 years. Grain silos hum with the scratching of mice. A wild cat drifts from the scrublands, slinking into the glow of human fire. She is tolerated because she hunts, but something else happens. She watches, she approaches, she grooms, and the first human feels the scrape of a tongue against their hand. They do not recoil. They accept it. In that moment, the contract is signed, a predator choosing alliance, a human choosing trust. That ritual is not lost. It is alive in your home tonight. Every culture saw it. Egyptians carved cats into stone, worshipped them as guardians of health and home. Sailors carried cats across oceans, believing their presence brought protection. Their grooming kept evil at bay. Families through centuries welcomed cats not just for the hunt, but for the unseen comfort they carried. And always the tongue was there, the ritual of licking, the code of adoption, the act that said, "You are mine, I guard you, you belong with me." When your cat licks you, you are being written into that legacy. You join a lineage of humans who passed the tests, who were accepted into the circle, who became more than caretakers, became kin. Every scrape across your skin is a signature written in history's ink. The roughness of the tongue is not flaw. It is reminder. This is not play, this is ritual, and it has survived unchanged for thousands of years. But legacy cuts both ways. To ignore it, to laugh at it, to dismiss it as mere habit, is to throw away what entire civilizations once revered. The act of licking is not casual, and if you treat it as such, the bond weakens. Trust is never guaranteed. Loyalty is never owed. It must be earned, protected, honored. Every lick is test and gift at once. The Catfather warns you, a gift dismissed is a bond destroyed, and so the truth stands revealed. When your cat licks you, it is not random. It is bond, it is ownership, it is warning, it is taste, it is comfort, and above all, it is legacy. Each layer stacked upon the other until the meaning is undeniable. You are chosen. You are family. You are part of something older than your own name. But what will you do with that knowledge? Will you shrug it off, call it strange, wipe your hand clean? Or will you understand it for what it is? A crown laid upon your head in silence, a mark of favor from a predator who owes you nothing but chooses to give you everything. Because once you recognize it, you can never return to ignorance. Every scrape of the tongue will feel like confession. Every lick will sound like oath. And if you think this revelation is powerful, wait until you discover the everyday mistakes that quietly destroy this bond, the small sins that break your cat's trust without you even noticing. Because devotion can be earned, yes, but it can also be lost. In the next lesson, the Catfather will expose those hidden mistakes, and once you hear them, you'll never treat your cat the same way again. The Catfather never sleeps, the Catfather never forgets, and the Catfather never wastes a lick. They want to know you fully, to understand you down to your chemistry, to keep their map of you updated with every heartbeat. And only their favorite human receives this attention. They don't waste diagnostics on strangers. They don't taste casually. They reserve the scan for the one they guard, the one they've chosen. But let's not pretend the primal isn't there. A lick can be affection, yes, but it can also be rehearsal. The taste of survival never truly leaves. And that is why, when their tongue lingers, when the licks become strangely focused, you must remember, this is a predator choosing not to hunt. This is a hunter practicing care instead of kill. And that choice is loyalty written in the oldest language life knows. But the story doesn't end with taste, because beyond survival, beyond instinct, beyond biology, lies something far rarer, a reason almost mystical. Sometimes when your cat licks you, it isn't about need at all. It's about comfort, theirs and yours, fused together in a ritual of healing. And that is the fifth truth behind the lick. There is a side to the lick that has nothing to do with dominance, nothing to do with warning, nothing even to do with survival. Sometimes when the tongue drags across your skin, it is not code for ownership or instinct. It is therapy, a ritual of comfort your cat performs not just for you, but for themselves. Because licking isn't only communication, it is medicine. Watch a kitten separated from its mother, lost and trembling. What does it do? It licks itself until exhaustion, tongue scraping fur, body rocking in rhythm. The act floods their brain with endorphins, soothing panic, forcing calm. This truth never disappears. Even in adulthood, when stress rises, cats lick, their paws, their sides, the empty air. Grooming becomes anesthesia, a drug made of motion and texture. And when your cat chooses to lick you instead of themselves, they are saying something profound. You are my comfort. You are my medicine. With you, I find calm. It isn't just symbolism. Science proves it. Grooming behavior lowers cortisol in cats. Endorphins rise, heart rate stabilize, breathing slows. And because trust bonds are chemical, this comfort bleeds into you as well. When your cat licks your hand while you cry or scrapes their tongue across your skin during sleepless nights, the effect is mutual. Their ritual calms them, and through touch, through sound, through presence, it calms you too. This is not accident. This is reciprocity written into instinct. But there is more. Comfort licking is timing sensitive. It often happens when your emotions shift, when you're stressed, when you're tired, when your body feels weak. Cats detect these changes before you do. They see the slump in your shoulders, hear the drag in your voice, smell the subtle shift in your chemistry. And when they decide the time has come, the tongue arrives like a bandage. You think it's random. It's prescription. The Catfather explains it like this: when the soldier sees his leader stumble, he steadies him, not with words but with presence. That presence is the lick. And here's the part most humans never notice. Comfort licking is often paired with sound. A soft purr rises beneath the scrape, a vibration that digs into your bones like a second heartbeat. The frequencies between 25 and 50 Hz have been proven to heal tissue, strengthen bone density, even lower inflammation. This is not myth, it is measured. When your cat purrs while licking you, it is not just grooming, it is therapy administered with surgical precision. They are healing you with every scrape, even as they heal themselves. Look too at the posture. Comfort licking rarely happens from a distance, it requires closeness. They press against you, curl into your chest, pin your hand between their paws. This isn't efficiency, it's intimacy. They could groom themselves faster, with less effort, but they choose you as the canvas because comfort shared is stronger than comfort alone. It is communion, it is ritual, it is confession without words. I need you and I know you need me. For many, this is the moment they realize they are the chosen human. Not when food is served, not when toys are played, but when the cat seeks them out in the dark, not for survival or dominance, but for comfort, because comfort is sacred. To be comfort is to be indispensable. But there is one final layer, one last truth, that few ever uncover, because sometimes, when your cat licks you, it has nothing to do with survival, ownership, or comfort. Sometimes, it is legacy, a ritual carried through thousands of years, linking you not just to your cat, but to every human who ever earned a place in feline history. And that, capiche, is the sixth and ultimate meaning of the lick. The tongue is more than flesh, more than barbs, more than biology. It is memory. Every lick your cat gives you is not just gesture, it is echo. In feline behavior, this is known as overstimulation. The tongue delivers the first notice that their tolerance is thinning. They are telling you the bond is strong, but respect the boundary. Stop now, or I will enforce the law myself. Those who listen avoid scratches. Those who ignore walk away bleeding. The lick, in this context, is a whisper of mercy, the last act of patience before instinct takes command. The Catfather explains it without pity. Even a boss will send a warning before the punishment falls. If you miss the warning, the punishment is on you. That is the law of the lick when instinct awakens. Look closely at the signals that ride alongside it. The tongue may pause mid-lick, hovering, almost trembling before it lands again. The paw may stiffen, pressing down harder against your skin. The whiskers angle forward, twitching as if calculating distance. Each lick becomes sharper, quicker, as though the tongue is counting down. 3, 2, 1, and then the strike. The mistake of most humans is to see affection until it's too late. They never learn that the affection already ended. The lick was no longer love. It was prophecy. But here's the truth most don't see. This isn't cruelty. It isn't moodiness. It is control. A cat lives at the border of two worlds, the world of affection and the world of survival. The lick bridges those worlds, easing them from guardian to predator, signaling the shift before it erupts. And if you learn to read it, you can prevent the storm before it breaks. The favored humans, the true chosen, understand this code. They stop at the warning. They pull back at the signal. They respect the lick not as rejection, but as a reminder that loyalty does not erase instinct. Because in the end, that's what the warning lick really means. I trust you enough to tell you I am at my limit. Listen, and we remain allies. Ignore me, and we return to predator and prey. The choice is always in your hands, but the test is always theirs to give. But warning isn't the final layer. There's another meaning hidden in the scrape of the tongue, one even more primal, because sometimes when your cat licks you, they aren't showing love, ownership, or even irritation. Sometimes they are tasting. And when you understand why, you'll never see that gesture as innocent again. The tongue is rough for a reason. Barbs of keratin angled backward, each one designed to strip meat from bone, to scrape flesh from prey, to clean the skeleton of a mouse until nothing remains but silence. That same weapon drags across your skin when your cat licks you, and in that moment you forget what it was made for. You think it's tenderness, but sometimes it's not. Sometimes the lick is instinct rising from the deep, a fragment of the hunter that never died. Sometimes it is taste. Cats are obligate carnivores. Their entire biology is built for meat. Their teeth, their claws, their digestive systems, everything points to the predator's truth. To them, the world is not defined in sights or sounds, but in chemistry, in molecules, in the scent and taste of what can sustain life. And when your cat licks you, they are collecting data. The salt of your skin, the trace minerals in your sweat, the oils produced by your body, all of it paints a picture of who you are, how you feel, whether you are healthy, weak, or vulnerable. That lick is not casual. It is diagnostic. Notice when it happens. Often they lick after you've exercised, when your sweat carries sodium, potassium, magnesium. To you it is just salt. To them it is information, a snapshot of your condition. Other times they lick when you are sick, hovering near your skin, tasting subtle changes in body chemistry you don't even detect. There are reports of cats becoming obsessive with licking when their humans are close to illness, as if they can taste the warning before it strikes, and perhaps they can. Their vomeronasal organ, a second sense system in the roof of the mouth, lets them analyze chemical detail with terrifying precision. They are not just licking, they are scanning. And here is where instinct turns darker. To taste is to test. In the wild, predators lick prey even before the kill, sampling blood, gauging weakness. Your cat is no monster, but the echo of this ritual remains. When they drag their tongue across your skin, some part of them is measuring, questioning, is my human well, is my human strong, or is there weakness here? It is not threat, but it is memory. The ghost of the hunter shadows every stroke. The Catfather says it straight. When a soldier tests the edge of his blade, it isn't because he doubts the steel, it's because instinct demands proof. Your cat's tongue is the blade, and the scrape across your skin is instinct demanding proof. Some find this unsettling, but in truth, it is part of the bond. Because the tasting is not meant to harm, it is meant to know. You feel the scrape and think it's love. But sometimes the truth is sharper. A lick can be affection, yes, but it can also be a claim. Cats are not sentimental dreamers. They are strategists, predators, tacticians of territory. In the wild, scent is law. Colonies are mapped not by fences but by odor, written in glands, urine, and grooming. To smell like the clan is to belong. To lack that scent is to be outsider, intruder, enemy. And when your cat drags their tongue across your skin, what they are really doing is writing you into their map. You are being marked, folded into their territory, claimed as part of their world. The tongue carries more than roughness. With every lick, microscopic traces of saliva sink into your skin. That saliva is loaded with pheromones, subtle signals invisible to you but blazing in the sensory world of a cat. To them, scent is identity. By licking you, they saturate you with their scent, covering the foreign chemical storm of soaps, perfumes, and the outside world. You come back smelling of strangers, of asphalt, of places they cannot control. They erase it with one ritual, the grooming of ownership. They are telling every molecule of you, you are mine. You smell like me now, and anyone who dares think otherwise will smell it too. Notice when it happens. Often it follows your return home, after work, after errands, after touching other animals. They greet you, sniff your hands, and then the tongue comes, not to welcome, to reclaim. It is a ritual of repossession. You strayed into the world, but now you are back in their orbit, and they will rewrite your scent until you belong once again. You think it's random affection, it's territorial defense. You are not just loved, you are owned. And the more they lick, the stronger the claim. A few strokes say you're acknowledged. A prolonged grooming session says you're being overwritten. Your cat doesn't tolerate competition. Their saliva tells the invisible story. This one is mine. This one carries my mark. Approach at your peril. In multi-cat households, this becomes even clearer. Cats groom their favorites not only to bond but to erase rival scents, to neutralize the chaos of overlapping identities. If your cat singles you out for this, if they insist on covering you in their chemical code, you are not just a favorite human, you are their flag planted in hostile ground. The Catfather explains it like this. When a boss stamps his seal, it isn't request, it's decree. That's what a lick means when it carries ownership. It is not please, it is law, and once that law is declared, it cannot be ignored. Yet here's where it turns stranger. Ownership is not always tender. Sometimes it edges into dominance. The insistence of the tongue can feel demanding, unrelenting, even uncomfortable. And that's the point. They aren't asking for your consent, they are asserting theirs. The ritual of ownership doesn't just place you in their circle, it places them above you. In feline terms, the one who grooms is the one who controls. So if they lick you with authority, with insistence, it isn't just devotion. It is hierarchy. They are telling you, in silence, you belong to me. And don't forget it. Most humans miss this shift. They laugh, they smile, they melt at the rough scrape of the tongue. But if you've felt the difference, if you've noticed when the lick grows longer, firmer, more obsessive, you've been shown the deeper layer. You are no longer just companion. You are property. And property comes with rules. Break those rules, betray that trust, and the one who once marked you will withdraw the claim. The licks will stop, the ownership will vanish, and with it the bond you thought was unbreakable. But ownership is not the only code hidden in the scrape of a tongue. Sometimes a lick is neither affection nor dominance, it is warning. A sign that instincts are waking, that something darker is stirring beneath the surface. And when that happens, the meaning of the lick shifts completely. Not every lick is gentle, not every lick is tender. Sometimes, beneath the scrape of the tongue, another message hides. Not devotion, not ownership, but warning. A reminder that your cat is not a plush toy, not a decoration, but a predator with instincts older than the fire that first drew humans and felines together. And when those instincts rise, they surface in silence first. The lick becomes signal, the tongue becomes flag. Ignore it, and the claws will follow. You've felt it before. The cat is on your lap purring, licking your hand. The rhythm is steady at first, calming, even hypnotic. But then something changes. The licks grow faster, rougher, more insistent. The ears twitch, the tail begins to flick like a whip, the pupils narrow to slits. What started as ritual begins to shift into tension. To the untrained human it seems sudden. To the cat it is escalation. The lick was the last polite warning. The next moment will be teeth.